Hello and welcome. Today we will be discussing how one goes about completing a risk analysis. We will be going over different types of security risks and assessing how likely an individual who we are analyzing, this is just a random individual, how likely on a daily basis they are to be presented with one of the security risk categories that we will be looking at. If you take a look at this chart, it gives the security risk incidences over a set amount of time. The individual who we were doing the security risk analysis for was asked to go back in history and provide different events under which would qualify as a security risk in the categories that we identified for him. The categories that we identified for him included technological security risks, medical security risks, and automotive security risks, and finally, different thefts. As you can see, the distribution was pretty good among the three categories. Technological security risks accounted for 3 incidences, as did medical and automotive, and there were 4 incidences of thefts occurring between the dates that were given, and the first incidence occurred on December 10, 2006, and the final incidence occurred on January 13, 2009. So that's just about a 3-year span over which we calculated security risks into the 4 different categories. We then went ahead and calculated the daily probability for each incidence occurring based off of our candidate's past history. For technology, the first security risk occurred on May 2nd, 2008, and the last security risk occurred on January 13th, 2009. That is a span of 257 days. So, to calculate the probability, we simply took the amount of incidents in those days, 3, and divided them by the amount of days, 257, and got a daily probability of 1.21%. That means that this person on any given day has a 1.21% chance of being presented with a technological risk. That's pretty high, given the fact that these security risks generally don't happen every day. Next, we looked at medical. First incidents took place on December 10, 2006, the last October 2nd, 2008. That span is 663 days. So we have 3 incidences occurring in the medical category over 663 days. It gives a 0.45% daily probability of a medical risk coming up. As for automotive, from April 14th, 2007 to August 13th, 2008. That was the span of in between the different risks that presented themselves, and that is 448 days. Again, in the automotive category, 3 incidences were logged, so 3 incidences divided by 448 days equals a 0.67% daily probability of an automotive security risk coming up. Finally, theft. This occurred between the dates of January 21st, 2007 and October 6th, 2008. We have a total of 4 incidences occurring over 474 days, giving a 0.84% daily probability of a theft occurring. So as you can see, the largest probability given was a technological risk, and that's partially because of the short time span, 257 days, in comparison to some of the other categories. In between technological risks, this person between the span of May 2008 to January 2009 had 3 technological issues. That can be attributed actually to an increased use in computer for college, which is what happened to our particular individual, or at least that's what one of the analyses to that increased daily probability could potentially be. In introspection, we noticed that in completing the risk analysis, there needs to be good data keeping of past events. If the person cannot recall on what date or what different events occurred, the risk analysis would be faulty, so good data keeping is key. Risk analysis also allows us to focus on the most important risk categories and possibly protect for those. So as we saw, technological risk was extremely high in comparison to the other events. So possibly we would want to take our first security measures in the technological category. Next, it sheds light on reoccurring problems. If you remember back to the second slide, there was 2 crashed hard drives that were uncovered when we did the risk analysis that could show, in addition to the fact that technological probability was high for the technological category, that maybe something needs to happen in backing up hard drive files. And finally, it was very helpful to have a broad classification of categories where different things can go into, because if you try to be too specific with the different categories that you lay out, then the probabilities are going to be very, very low, because you will almost be counting everything as an individual event, and the risk analysis will not be helpful at all.